On this week's episode of Friend Code, Nintendo drops a brand new trailer for Paper Mario: The Origami King. The May 2020 NPD numbers are in, and with Microsoft and Sony's cards on the table for next gen, does Nintendo stay the course, or do they need to change anything up? Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Friend Code. I'm your host, Michael Damiani. This week, I'm joined by Michael Huber.
Yo!
Brad Ellis.
Achievements.
Achievements, not yet. I mean, they're in-game achievements. Man, are there in-game achievements in certain games, Brad?
Yeah.
But Nintendo just not doing
disrespectful, man.
We held out for this episode, so I gotta apologize. Unfortunately, this week, this episode's coming to you much later than it usually does.
What do you mean I take full responsibility? 100%.
No, actually, it's not you, Huber.
No, it's me, man. We were supposed to film yesterday, and I said no.
But that's like the last step in the long list of things that happened to lead to this being so delayed. So it was absolutely not all of your fault.
I will share the burden.
Okay.
Share the load.
Share the load.
The original plan for this week's episode fell through. We'll try and still make that episode happen at a later date. But thankfully, the kind of happy outcome of all this is that there actually is some Nintendo news now. Just have to wait till the end of the week, because we did get a second trailer for Paper Mario: The Origami King. NPD numbers just dropped today, so we're going to be talking about that. And we had the PS5 reveal event. PS5, the future of gaming, was just happened, and we now know mostly what Microsoft and Sony will be offering to an extent, and if that's going to have any impact on what Nintendo's going to do in the future, because those systems are coming. And yeah, I also wanted to say, if you're wondering why I'm wearing glasses right now, these are not for sight. It's not a sight related thing. One of my left eye and sometimes in my right eye, I get really agitated. For I thought no reason, and I found out it was due to the light, staring at screens for too long and stuff. So these are blue light blocker glasses that are going to help with that problem, so I don't get irritated eyes as much. So
protect them.
Got to protect those eyes.
I'll protect them.
But Paper Mario, let's start here. Let's start with Paper Mario: The Origami King. They announced this game last month. Short trailer, revealed it. People had some thoughts on it because of what they showed. I'm kind of curious to start there, because I haven't ever heard what you two, just in general, thought about this game when it was announced, before we dive into all the details they revealed in the new trailer.
So I haven't really played any Paper Mario games ever. So I'm always when a trailer comes out, I'm always oh, that looks cool. It's interesting. New Mario game. But I feel like the last couple times people have been don't really play it kind of thing with the last few. But when I saw this one, I was like, oh, this looks sick, dude. Seeing cruise around the desert. So yeah, it looks great to me right now, at least.
Yeah, the first trailer didn't really do it for me. I'm like, oh, cool, Paper Mario's back. Same vibe as Brad, you know? But this new trailer really, really spoke to me. I don't know if that's because I'm just an emotional wreck lately, and Mario is chicken soup for the soul. But everything about this new trailer spoke to me so hard, because it's doubling down on exploring and puzzle solving and bonds with companions. At this point in my life, this is the one exact thing I need. So I absolutely loved the new trailer. I'm ready to just explore and solve puzzles.
I mean, the trailer gave you an idea what the hell the game is more.
Totally.
But I feel like a lot of people watched the last trailer and had a ton of questions, and now this definitely fills you in a lot more.
Great point. Yeah, they showed off all these new environments. I was like, wow, this is a big adventure. So really, really cool trailer.
Yeah, this makes me feel much better about it. But also, let me let me backtrack a bit. And you're thinking about bonds and characters, Huber. I think in the discussion I had with my guest in the last episode, one of the concerns was about your partners being a little too generic, too cookie cutter, essentially. And they kind of did a spotlight on the characters there, like the Toad Professor, Kamek, Bobby the Babam, giving a little bit of their backstory, what they're gonna be doing and stuff, and then like Olivia, the sister of the Origami King. I'm kind of. Do you think, from what they saw, are you actually like? I mean, you just talked about Bonds, Hubert. Do you feel like these are more interesting characters? Are you interested in these side characters started talking about, or do you still feel you need a little bit more, see a little bit more about them?
Well, you guys know I'm always down for an uneasy alliance. So you got the Goomba, the Bombs, and Kamek and Bowser Jr. there, and like
Mhm.
even Bowser seems like trapped in
Yep.
paper form. So super down for the uneasy alliance vibe. Um, Not really sold on the main villains, obviously, because we haven't really learned about them. But I did appreciate and did laugh when we saw some of those bosses, like the pencils and the tape machine.
Dude, Huber, the Origami King has the Girahim haircut, dude. So just channel that.
Good call, dude. Good call.
If you remember back to the first trailer, Huber, the opening dialogue, the like kind of dark, creepy tone from what appeared to be Peach, but seemed like she was being controlled or influenced. If that was the Origami King speaking through her, then very
That's
dark,
unnerving.
a little bit like a little bit of mischievous, a little bit of a Loki thing going there, maybe.
Totally.
Wanting to mess with you and stuff like that. It seemed like Brad, I think, hit it right. You nailed it, Brad. I think it's like a Girahim vibe, just a tiny bit, but we'll see maybe a little bit more. In terms of like imposing, it's just they capture the Peach's castle has been whisked away by like those 5 strands of the paper strands. You're following them. I like that. You're following them to 5 different ends of the world. You said there's so many different environments. They talked about like the fall area, like the desert oasis. So like different areas you're going to explore in exploration. But you touched about the boss battles. I want to go there real quick, Hubert. So one of the questions was about the combat system. And they talked about the basic combat system, and we can get into that in just a second. But the boss battles, they showed how boss battles are going to work. And there was a lot of speculation in the last episode about they're going to use that like the real estate, that circular that battle arena to its full extent. And they showed that by you having to find a path to the boss by like rotating the pieces and running over certain like icons or like emblems on the floor. How do you feel about that? Like a kind of like a puzzle aspect, and that what they showed for the boss encounters.
I love it, man. I love turn-based battles like for life. Just the strategy involved. Even when I feel like even when you're really strong in a turn-based game, you still have to think about it. Like there's always just thought and strategy. And I love that. And I love how it was different than just fighting normal enemies. So it really spoke to me.
Dummy, I think it's interesting. What makes the combat system really stand out to me, or one part, is what they do with the system. Like you have the base system, the circles, but they're like, okay, what can we build around this system to make it stand out? And this kind of idea of like navigating through it is a cool way to expand upon that.
I'm really happy about that, because it does show like they do, even going to like the basic battle system. I think they gave enough now. They showed that it's not like, obviously we have to rotate the things to line up enemies, just either for like jumps or AOE attacks, stuff like that. But they showed like a timer. You have a finite amount of time to figure out the solution. You have a like amount of turns. You don't have infinite turns. You can only like spins. You only spin so many turns. But they also had an icon for like buying time. So there's like, I'm assuming your currency or economy, Huber, is going to go towards maybe I need a little bit more time to figure this out. But there's also a hint system apparently at the bottom. So I think this seems way more involved, way more strategic, and it feels like it's gonna be more challenging. They kept bringing up challenge, like, oh, the regular battles are gonna have a degree of challenge, but wait till you do these boss battles. Like, we're really gonna push back a little bit on this, and I liked what I heard from that.
For sure, same. Yeah, finding like weak points and stuff. He was like using the stretch arms to close the pencil case.
Yeah,
very cool.
Cool boss, dude. Colored pencils.
Yeah.
It was some like machine gun fire.
I mean, it was great to see that. Like, it's like creative bosses, unique things that I expect out of these games. And I mean, they also showed, I think, like the powers you're going to use. Like, they showed like the hammer, they showed your boots, they showed the POW block, they showed the fire flower. They're like classic Mario abilities are going to be utilized in battle. But not only that, they did show your companions will be able to come out. It didn't seem like at will, maybe, but like at certain contextual things will allow them to participate in the fight as well. And I think that was a big sticking point for people who are a fan of the older games, is having that companion be able to join you in combat. And also the Toad stuff. I love this. I'm sorry to go into another tangent here, but they showed a thing about exploration. That go find suspicious paths and stuff, bang and interact with all these different items or objects, and they might become toads. And those toads just line the arena, and at one point they toss out like a healing mushroom to you. So I'm assuming the more you have, the better your chances of getting beneficial items and stuff. So it's like a reward. It makes battles. I love that. I absolutely love that.
Totally. And like a lot of mainline Mario games go, I always appreciate and I love that they're so accessible. You know, like Mario Odyssey, you can get through the main campaign with, you know, it's challenging, but you can get through the main campaign. And then if you want to go further, you can do more like harder levels, harder stages, you know, Champions Road, Damiani. So I imagine maybe there's like secret, really challenging bosses in this game that are optional, which would be really cool.
Oh, I mean, I hope there are like secret hidden bosses.
Yeah.
Helix and Super Mario RPG is this.
Oh, is that the Final Fantasy boss?
Yeah, with the battle theme. That I want. It doesn't have to literally be that, but I love stuff like that.
Yeah, super cool.
And I like it when they play into like the weird, quirky angle. That it's not just like something that's difficult; it's just something out there and ridiculous looking. And given the normal bosses we've seen in this game, I have kind of high expectations for that. One thing they showed, I'm kind of curious about your opinion on. I think I have an inkling of what you're going to say about this. They showed a bunch of like mini game type activities. They showed like the moving target one where you got to like shoot like the numbers in a gallery. They showed another shooting thing when you're in the air or something like a aerial battle. Does that type of stuff interest you, or you know, what do you think about that type of stuff in an RPG?
I like that stuff as long as it's spaced out properly. I don't really like when it feels like mini game, back to back. But I do appreciate like just quick little things. Like Final Fantasy 7 has like a lot of mini games in it, but it's broken up pretty far in between each other.
Same.
Gotcha.
What he said.
The underwater thing. I'm hoping that's more than just a mini game. So there's a part in the trailer they show you sailing over water, like more like open environment type thing, which seems like the onus on exploration. And there's a shot in here where you're clearly in some kind of submersible vehicle with like claws outside, and you're zooming in on a chest underwater, like you're gonna go reach and grab it. I hope there's like more stuff like that. That looks awesome.
Yeah, the new trailer just really opened my eyes up to the exploration of this game. It just feels a lot bigger than I previously thought.
Yeah. What was it? The one arena where there's like a picture on the floor. I wonder if you solve it, like you make it look correct. I'm assuming you trigger beneficial or attributes or something like that. It just impresses me how much more strategy there is going to be. Basically, they sold the case that there's a lot of strategy in battle here. It's something, even if it's not exactly what you were looking for, like it's not Thousand Year Doors battle system, it's not OG Paper Mario system. I think it's proven the concept's unique enough that I hope people give it a fair shake, because it definitely looks intriguing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna buy it. The first one I'm actually gonna like buy.
I hope. I feel confident, Brad. It's gonna be better than Sticker Star Color Splash.
Yeah, it's like I don't need this game to be like a 9 out of 10 or anything like that. I could just enjoy it for what it is.
I'm loving how this is such a short lead time. Announced in May, second trailer in June.
Love that.
I don't know if we're even going to get anything else because it comes out in July. It comes out in a month.
I could see like one more trailer, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that for them doing one more.
They got to keep that momentum going of advertising.
They've shown a good amount, I think, at this point. I almost think they've shown maybe too much, but I think the skepticism after the first trailer, I think they needed to show a little bit more.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just glad.
Sneaking up, man. I'm ready for this now. So high on my radar.
Yeah, it's like this and Ghost of Tsushima, which is having the two of you here. This is a good. You know, these come out on the same day, so
it's gonna be a good day.
That was a good day. Very good day.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna guess that Ben's gonna end up reviewing this. So I think my it's gonna be weird because my obligation is probably gonna be to play this to talk about this on like friend code or something. At the same time, I want to play both at the same time.
Sure, yeah.
I want to go back and forth. It's like get like a few hours in Ghost of Tsushima, switch back to like Paper Mario.
Mario is usually a daytime game. Ghost of Tsushima when the lights go out, lock the doors, pull the curtains, settle in.
I like the way you put that, Huber.
Dude, settle in, get some hot sake, Huber.
Yeah, dude, yes.
Eat sushi right before, dude, fully immersed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some green tea, maybe. Zone up.
I do hope, though, at some point, especially for you, Brad, if you enjoyed this game, I hope there's an opportunity for you to go back and play Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, that's like the one I have to play.
I'm basically saying, Nintendo, please put that on like the eShop or something. Just make it easier for people to play, so that they go back and get a GameCube or bust out their Wii, and one of those two devices will be able to play it for you. But you need the game, and it's not cheap, not easy.
I know.
Easy to
I
come
think
by.
A couple people own it though. At
I've got
it.
Ben has it. He had to lend it.
You have it?
Oh, you have it, Huber?
Yeah.
Oh, dang! I didn't know that.
I've got
awesome.
this shit. Yep.
Yo,
this guy.
Huber's the most
Nintendo.
legit Paper Mario fan right here.
Yeah.
Mario, dude. Like
True. Yeah.
Mario.
Mario's in the box. Huber's buying.
Yeah.
Gotta buy it. I do hope. Last thing I'll say is there's some platforming. Obviously, jumping in combat. It's been a thing with Paper Mario. I did see a little bit of like jumping to platforms and stuff. I like that in the Paper Mario games. It's like a hint. A little bit of platforming to reach places, but you always seem to know when to do it. Like it's like, here, this is the spot we should do it. I'm hoping that, especially coming from like Thousand Year Door and their OG Paper Mario, maybe not so much Sticker Star and Color Splash. I hope they get back to that. Even Super Mario RPG had great moments when you're jumping and stuff. A little rough with the isometric view,
but like it was cool where they put it in.
Hoping for that for sure, and of course, the writing. I hope they nail the comedic writing tone.
Yeah, that's what I always hear about these games. People love the writing.
Yeah, like Thousand Year Door really nailed it. Even Super Paper Mario for Wii had pretty good writing. It had that famous one of like, I like to go on message boards and complain about games I've never played. Yes, no. That's where that came from. So like they do know their audience a little bit, so it's kind of nice. So we'll see. But yeah, really, thank you, Nintendo, for dropping some news this week with everyone else dropping all of their big stuff. And, it feels like this was originally supposed to be E3 week. Nintendo did say they were not planning to do an E3-style Nintendo Direct this week. They followed that up a month ago saying that they have no plans to do a traditional Direct in the near future. Sorry, Nintendo didn't say that. Reports came out from other sites like Eurogamer saying that they had heard that was going to be the case. And so we're kind of in this holding pattern of, will Nintendo drop a random trailer for a game and we'll be like, we're going to get Breath of the Wild trailer. It's been a year since they announced it. It's been 1 year since the official announcement. It's been a while since a new trailer. So,
it's good.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, it's cooking, dude. Zelda games definitely cook. Zelda games are like in a crock pot, dude. They just cook for a long time.
Oh yeah, but while we wait for Nintendo to drop more news, I'm hearing rumors next week. And a reminder, they did say June was when they would announce and release the first fighter in Fighter Pass Volume 2 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Right.
We know it's an ARMS character. We just don't know who. So we're waiting for that reveal, and we've only got 2.5 weeks left in the month. So we'll see.
That'll be a great fit. ARMS and Smash. That's really cool.
They're also planning to do around that. They did that like free access to ARMS. I wonder if they'll do another thing for that again. But also Pokemon, the first DLC.
Oh yeah,
content is coming out this month. Or is it crap? It's coming out. Then I don't know if they're gonna. They did a video for it already. I just don't know if they're gonna do anything else for it. If they're just gonna release it. But that's something else that's coming out, and hopefully Nintendo will acknowledge it this month. We'll see. We'll have to see. But our next topic, something Michael Huber has to be around, whether it's on the Easy Allies podcast or Friend Code. It doesn't feel right when you don't have Michael Huber for this, and that would be NPD numbers.
NPDs.
Hell yes.
Love
The May
NPDs.
2020 NPD. Piscatella, tweeting it out, baby.
Let's do
Tweeting
it.
out the graphs and the charts. Good
I don't
stuff.
have any spoilers for this. Sometimes
All right.
sometimes the NPD spoilers will hit me. I got nothing.
All right. Let me enlarge this image so I can see it a little bit better. Here we
Brad's
go.
double shot, man.
So I've got,
Looks
let's
good.
go over
It
this.
is.
I got the top 20 best-selling games of May 2020, Huber.
Okay.
And let me look over it. 1, 2, 3. Three of these games have a version on Switch or it's a Switch game. Only 3 of the top 10 at the time are Switch games.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Grand
On the
Theft Auto
list.
5 is number 2.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty is number 1. Modern Warfare is number
FIFA.
1. FIFA is not in this list, but
NBA 2K.
NBA 2K20 is number 4. But at number 3 is our first Switch game.
Mario Kart.
No, it's
Smash.
one of the biggest games of the year for them. Broke records. Came out recently. this year.
Pokemon, yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, all right.
Animal Crossing New
March,
Horizons at number 3. Still holding strong. Doing really well. Number 5 is a multi-platform game. Hubert.
It's got the celebrity endorsement. Animal Crossing.
I do feel like it's waning a bit. I think it's now. Unless they have a good seasonal update in the near future, I do think it's. I would personally wager it's on its downward. It's on its downward trend right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can only stay in the limelight for so long.
Yeah, they're not treating it as a game as a service. They are supporting it post launch with these seasonal events. They haven't been that good. Not good reception to a lot of these so far, and people are thinking they're dropping the ball on this. So we'll see if they have like a second wind in them at some point. Otherwise, I mean, it's so successful though that I think no matter what happens,
cash,
dude.
dude.
They did right by it.
Yeah.
But number 5, Huber, multi-platform game. There is a version on Switch. Just had a major update.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 11
Nice.
at number 5. Previously, last month was ranked 14, so it jumped up.
Yeah, wow.
9 spots, baby. Number 6
is awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Well, originally we were going to talk about fighting game stuff, and I wanted to talk about Mortal Kombat. And like on Switch, have you even tried this game on Switch at all? No. Let me ask you this: do you have any desire to play that game on Switch ever?
No.
If you got it for free, would you play it?
No, because Sega Genesis, dude, it all goes back to the Super NES versus the Sega Genesis. Mortal Kombat. I made my allegiance back then. I am a very loyal creature.
So what do you play Mortal Kombat on now? What Sega platform do you play on?
Now I'm just on PlayStation.
The Sega PlayStation?
The Sega PlayStation, exactly.
All right, so your allegiance to Sega still holds true. Okay.
Hey,
just want to make sure about that.
All the way MK Gold on Dreamcast, man. As long
but you held out to the end. That's what
I held out to the end.
Okay. And then you didn't become a traitor. You didn't walk over to Nintendo.
Yeah.
You went to the next ally. He was like, no, we'll take up the mantle for you, the PlayStation. I got you, Huber. So you've been loyal to the PlayStation versions ever since.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Ever since the PS2 days, man, like Deception and stuff.
I got
so
you.
Cool. Yeah.
Number 6 is a Brandon Jones special.
Red Dead
Redemption 2.
Dang. Wait, that was number 7?
Number 6. Number 6.
Wow.
Number 7 is another juggernaut. Had a installment come out that was a multiplayer co-op game. We played it. We played it as part of a double header for our charity stream for the George Floyd Memorial Fund.
Oh, Minecraft?
Yeah, the OG Minecraft.
Yeah.
Number 7. And finally, at number 8, Brad Ellis.
Mario Kart?
No.
Smash?
No, the game.
Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy 7.
Oh,
remake.
yeah.
Still in the top. Went from number 1 to 8. So it dropped from 1 to 8. So still in the top 10. Still going strong. That's a good thing to see. Number 9, Huber. This is your specialty. The series. You love this series.
Easy.
Resident Evil.
What?
Resident Evil?
No. It's a big series. Big environments now.
Assassin's Creed.
Yes,
There you
Assassin's
go.
Creed Odyssey.
Wow.
Wait,
I'm surprised.
I know it jumped from. Help me figure out why. I guess.
Valhalla. The Valhalla hype.
Okay.
I saw a lot of people going back
So was
and
Valhalla.
doing the DLCs because they had 6 giant DLC chapters.
Oh, okay.
One of which was about the origins of the Hidden Blade, and then the other one took place after Odyssey's campaign. So all that stuff was really meaningful. So I think the Valhalla hype got people itching to go back in and finish the fight.
Because it jumped from number 28 last month to 9.
Wow.
That was a large jump. And finally, wrapping out the top 10 before we dive into like Nintendo specific positions. A franchise that is a massive media franchise. Just got stealth announced a brand new game in this franchise today. We're gonna see more of this franchise at EA play.
Star Wars.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order at number 10.
Nice.
Jumped 8 spots. Do you have any idea why it would have jumped 8 spots?
Because maybe that they had like a patch, like some extra content added on, like New Game Plus and stuff. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Might have went on sale too.
All right. Also, didn't last month Star Wars get added to Disney Plus? So maybe everyone was like feeling Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker.
The Skywalker saga.
Yeah, maybe the marketing ramped up for it. Unfortunately, Animal Crossing New Horizons was the only exclusive for Nintendo in the top 10 this month. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, not coming in the top 10, fell at the number 12 spot.
Oh, skid it out to number 12.
Get it out.
Boo-hoo.
And this next one, I'm glad it charted. I really would have liked to see it in the top 10, but I understand this game isn't AAA. It isn't a big name RPG. Just came out last month, very recently. Nintendo Switch exclusive. You're playing it, Brad. Huber, we want you to play it. Yes, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition's at number 14.
That's like the third version of that game.
I think this might. We'll have to see. This might be the best. It's the version of Xenoblade Chronicles, like its best performance.
Oh,
I'll have to double check that. And finally, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is down at number 18. Did move up a few slots.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Smash, Mario. No more Breath of the Wild. No more Odyssey in the top 20 anymore. Breath of the Wild fell out of the top 20. I believe it was in there last month. So it's Smash, Xenoblade, Mario Kart 8, and Animal Crossing were the 4 exclusives to chart this month. So maybe a little bit of a down month for Nintendo.
Man, I can't the fact that Breath of the Wild and like Odyssey had done so well. Even it's been years since those games came out, and those aren't like multiplayer games that people are still playing. You know, that's a single player adventure, and it's still selling, and probably for $60 too.
Yeah,
no discount.
Let's see if Piscatella.
Our friend Brad G-Bomb he just found a Switch on Craigslist or whatever. You know, the Switches are like hard to find right now.
Yeah.
So he just got a Switch and he bought Zelda Breath of the Wild, first game he bought. Nice. So it just keeps going, you know. People getting Switches, and that's like the first place they look, I feel, is Mario and Zelda. So,
yeah, those are gonna they have such great attachment rates. They're always gonna sell. Even if they're out of the top 20, they're still selling pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they've shown those numbers before. They're astronomical, especially for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And speaking of, like you said, like hard to find a Switch right now. Piscatella did confirm that Switch was again the best-selling hardware platform in May, both in units sold and dollar sales. So most units and most money made from it. Nintendo Switch unit sales were the highest for any individual platform in a May month since Nintendo 3DS in May 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So in 11 years,
The Switch 300 for the normal version?
$299, yes. $299, and then, So for 11 years, out of the last 11 years, this year's Switch sales were the best of any platform in a month of May. For 11 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So soft, yeah.
They're doing pretty good, man.
Year-to-date dollar sales of Nintendo Switch remain the highest of any hardware platform in U.S. history. The previous high was set by the Wii in the year-to-date period ending May 2008. So year two, second full year of a Wii, entering its third year, when it's like at its pinnacle, Switch is going toe to toe and beating it right now in like hardware sales. So the Switch hardware still doing very well.
It's very appealing hardware.
It really is, because the Wii, I still feel like it had the motion controls, but it was still in the same ballpark technically as like a Xbox or PlayStation. It's this big thing that sits in your living room. And the Switch just being portable, it just is so different. It's awesome.
It's always surprising me how many people just play that thing undocked.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I primarily play the system undocked nowadays on my Switch. I play Switch Lite. It's just like I like playing it now. I'm sure that will change once like I'll probably play Paper Mario on like docked and stuff like that. Be the first one I feel inclined to play. Before I give you the top 10 Switch.
Portable mode though, good for grinding.
Yeah, that's still like fever remedial stuff. I feel so good about doing remedial stuff like in handheld mode and portable mode. So it's like made for that type of thing. So right here. So before I give you the top 10 Switch games of the month, there was a note about Mortal Kombat 11 because I know you're a huge Mortal Kombat 11 fan.
And I was totally kidding about not playing on Nintendo. I totally would. It's just if I have the option, play with those PlayStation visuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I understand.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah.
No, I know I get you. Like I was gonna say, Mortal Kombat's like a game where I think fidelity does matter on these newer entries, and you want to play it like with the best frame rate, especially a fighting
internet,
game.
Wired
Net code and stuff, and switches. Yeah, it makes sense. I was also not completely like joking about like it's probably better off you're not playing on Switch. Mortal Kombat 11 is the highest placement on the monthly bestsellers chart since ranking third in June 2019. So this game came out forever ago, over a year ago.
Yeah.
It's back. It's back in the ranking so high because of like this update. It is currently the 5th best-selling fighting game in U.S. history.
Wow,
the 5th?
5th best fighting game of all time.
Holy shit!
And Mortal Kombat as a franchise is the best-selling head-to-head fighting game franchise in U.S. history in both units moved and dollar sales.
A lot of entries too, for sure.
A lot of entries.
Prolific.
Legacy. Yeah.
I mean, Street Fighter has a lot of entries too.
Oh, for sure. Street Fighter and like Mortal Kombat are like what I think of when I think of fighting games.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in terms of like quality or anything like that, but it's just like those are the two biggest names to me.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, Aftermath, I think, was a genius move. I was a little shocked at the price initially. It's like $40 for this thing, but it really does feel like Mortal Kombat 11.5. It has this sequel vibe to it almost because we're continuing the story. There's a ton of cutscenes, levels, stages, friendships, characters. I mean, it feels like a soft sequel in that regard. And especially if you didn't own it before, just buying this version, it's just a really smart
Wait,
move.
can you just buy this version and get everything?
You can buy like the bundle, I think,
so
which is
like
60
for everything. Okay.
But that's good. Yeah. And they've also done like balancing and stuff. Like remember hearing plays about the tower stuff? They've addressed all that by now, I'm assuming.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. They made it easier to get hearts, and of course, all the DLC characters were so cool. I mean, Terminator spawn, RoboCop. Too cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think they've done such a great job. And it was interesting to see Ed Boon tease that their next fighting game project may potentially neither be Mortal Kombat nor DC superheroes.
Wow.
It might be something new.
Wow,
that'd be.
I can't even like think of what that would be. I cannot even guess.
I know. That's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah. Like, do you guys even have a guess for what it could be? Like,
no,
what?
I think it might be something just new.
Like just brand new characters in world. That'd be wild.
What if they're making Killer Instinct, Damiani?
Oh wow, so Microsoft hoarded them to make a new Killer Instinct. The Killer Instinct has a legacy of amazing netcode, and Mortal Kombat also has amazing netcode. I think I'd be pretty excited. I think to see that. I think that has a lot of potential there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could go places. I'm not well versed enough in new Killer Instinct and new Mortal Kombat to say. I obviously can tell the fighting styles are way different. They definitely like feel. I've played both of them a little bit. I can tell they're different to play. But I mean, NetherRealm has proved themselves. They're very good at making fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect they could adapt to making a more Killer Instinct style combo, like faster paced combo heavy with like combo breakers and that level of that style of play, like a lot of juggling and stuff like that. I feel like hopefully that's right. Hopefully it's about that.
What about Star Wars?
It's also
Star
possible.
Wars fighting game?
I think
Masters
EA,
of Terrakasi or whatever.
I think EA has like all the rights to Star Wars games.
They
pretty
go work
much,
with EA.
but it could be Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter fighting game. Yeah,
or Lord of the Rings, maybe.
Dude, Lord of the Rings would be rad.
I think it might just be something new.
I would love to see some Star Wars fatalities, though. Vader just like
a Yoda fatality.
I don't know if Disney would allow that.
Baby Yoda fatality, yes. There you go. They do friendships.
A Mandalorian fatality, yes.
Yeah.
Dude, Mandalorian should have been a guest character in Mortal Kombat. Oh.
Dude, next time. That's a great one.
Well, yes, Mortal Kombat 11 doing very well in the sales, and then Nintendo Switch games, as we said, a few of them doing well in the sales, but not as many in the top 10 as we usually see.
Mm-hmm.
So we already covered Animal Crossing, Mario Kart 8, Xenoblade, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Those are obviously the top 4 selling Switch games of the month.
Quick question: was that Xenoblade's debut month?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it was number.
It came out at the end of the month, so it was number 14.
14 end of the month.
Yeah, it came out on the 29th, so it only had a few days of sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I still don't think it's gonna chart. I don't think it's gonna chart higher in like June things. I don't even know if it's gonna chart. Yeah, I hope it does, but I wouldn't keep my hopes up for that. All right, so number 5, used to be a usual suspect in the top 10 of even the top 20. Sorry, it fell at the top 20 of the MPD. This has been a mainstay for a long time. We've mentioned this game a lot, setting records for the series, highest selling entry in the series now by a lot.
Smash.
No, we talked about Smash after. Oh,
Smash. These are new ones.
These are the last 6 spots.
Mario Kart.
Luigi Mansion.
No, we were talking about Mario Kart. So we were Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, Xenoblade, Smash. We already said those are the top 4.
Luigi.
Luigi's Mansion is down at number 9.
Oh, this one's Pokemon then.
Pokemon Sword is at number 7. This is a massive franchise.
Massive. Mario? Zelda?
Link's Awakening.
No, the other one. Breath of the Wild is at number 5.
Got it.
Super Mario Odyssey is at 10. The 10th best-selling Switch game of the month. We have 2 more.
Dude, was Mario Odyssey 2017?
Yes, October 2017.
Dumbman, do you know how well Link's Awakening did?
Oh yeah, it sold better than the original. Individually it sold more than either OG Link's Awakening or Link's Awakening DX.
Oh, okay.
So it's the highest selling individual Link's Awakening entry. Has not sold more than both those combined, but it sold like 4 point something million. Oh, okay. It sold pretty well.
Yeah.
It just has fallen out. It didn't have long legs on it, unfortunately. It got its like all its sales in the first 2 months pretty much. And then the holiday boost, I'm guessing. There's one more Mario game in the top 10. It's 2D Mario. And it was a Switch.
New Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is number 8. Number 6, Ubisoft game. Popular franchise, casual franchise. Been around since like the Wii. Always top seller. Comes out every year.
Oh, Just Dance?
Just Dance 2020.
Still going, man.
That is your top 10 for the May 2020 Switch. Animal Crossing, Mario Kart 8, Xenoblade Chronicles, Smash Brothers, Breath of the Wild, Just Dance, Pokemon Sword, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Luigi's Mansion 3, Super Mario Odyssey.
Nice.
So,
do we have Odyssey's lifetime sales?
Oh, so yeah, I can bring up.
I would love that number.
So we can go through.
I'd love that number.
I would love that. I just want to feel the love.
FY 2020 report. Sorry, just bring up the website real quick. That's the PDF. I want the site. I need the site. Shit.
PDF.
Give me a sec. But what I do want to talk about. Why does this not do this correctly anymore? This is so weird. It's like everywhere immediately when the news. Here we go. Found it. Investor relations. Sorry, IR. All right. So you want to see software? We need to see software.
Odyssey.
Financial data. Dedicated video game sales units. Here you go, Michael Huber.
Mm-hmm.
So for top selling sales, so you want to know which one again?
Odyssey.
Odyssey is tied for third place, the third best selling Switch game lifetime to date, with Breath of the Wild. To get this is as of the end of March of this year. So Breath of the Wild is clearly past it by now.
Is this including or excluding digital?
This is everything. This is Nintendo's own report.
Sick.
So that as of the end of March of this year, they were tied both at 17.41 million copies sold.
Wow. Damn, dude.
I was expecting like 30. Keep it going.
Expecting.
Do you remember?
Isn't GTA 5?
So can I tell you this, Hubert?
40 million?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has only sold 24.77 million.
Oh shit!
As of the end of March. Wii U, Nintendo 3DS, best-selling game had 18.71 million. Was Mario Kart 7. Wii non-bundled games. Wii Sports is a whole different story. Wii Sports had 82.9 million, but that was bundled in a lot of regions. But the best-selling non-bundled game for, I think, ever for Nintendo is Mario Kart Wii, which moved 37.32 million. So that is the best-selling non-bundled Nintendo game. So 37 million is a high point, Huber.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
So expecting 30 million. I mean, New Super Mario Brothers on DS reached that mark. It was the only game on DS to reach that mark. So, yeah, Huber, like a lie.
Quick thing off the top of your head, Damian, do you know what the lowest selling 3D Zelda was?
The lowest selling 3D Zelda, I believe, is Skyward Sword. There's a Zelda sales page. I'll bring it up real quick.
Wow, it's so interesting because it's on Wii, which is like
at
the most.
End of Wii.
That's shocking.
But I wonder if the motion control.
The correct answer, I think, is either. I mean, the technical correct answer is either the Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess HD, because those are any of them. But if you're talking about OG releases, so I'll go down the OG releases here. Ocarina of Time sold 7.6 million on N64. Majora's Mask sold 6.36 million on N64.
Damn.
The Wind Waker sold 4.43 million on GameCube. Twilight Princess sold 8.85 million on GameCube and Wii combined.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight Princess is actually the second best-selling Zelda game of all time.
Hell yeah.
Skyward Sword sold 3.67 million.
It's the graphics, man. People just don't, and Wind Waker too. People just don't like cartoony graphics sometimes.
So Majora's Mask is the lowest selling one. I mean it followed up Ocarina of Time from 7 million to 3.36 million. But the original Wind Waker sold 4.43. So Skyward Sword is like, that was a new entry. It wasn't a sequel, wasn't a spin-off. Had a lot of build up to it. So Skyward Sword only sold 3.67 million at the end of the Wii cycle. So the largest install base of any Zelda game.
Shocking.
And only sold that much. So that's why I always say Skyward Sword was the least successful financially of any 3D Zelda, because Majora's Mask was spun off from the assets of Ocarina of Time and stuff that wasn't expected to sell that much.
GameCube's install base was so much lower.
And yet the Wind Waker still sold 4.43 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, Twilight Princess HD only sold barely over 1 million. So if you want to go, the technical answer is Twilight Princess HD.
Wii U.
But yeah, that's Wii U. That's Wii U. If you want to get really sad, Link's Crossbow Training has sold 5.79 million.
What?
Yeah, Link's Crossbow Training is one of the best-selling Zelda games of all time.
I had it too, and I wanted that.
You know what we need to do? We need to do a group stream of Link's Crossbow Training.
Yeah, full playthrough.
Yes. Oh god.
Yep.
That would be we really need to show that off. But while Switch hardware is doing well, it seems it's obviously having a record-setting year. Animal Crossing, record-setting game entry for that series. All the entries in that, and Nintendo's franchise has been doing so well on Switch. We are at a point now, whether or not the sales show it's doing well, a question that's going to start getting louder and louder from critics out there is the question of if and what, if anything, Nintendo should be doing in preparation for the onslaught of next gen. We've seen Microsoft's third-party offerings and hardware. We will see their first-party lineup in a little about a month and a half, roughly. I think it's end of July, beginning of August is going to be like the bombardment of their software and finalized details. We just had the PlayStation 5 event yesterday. Saw first-party offerings from Sony PlayStation Studios and third parties there. And I have some patron questions here.
Great.
I have some questions because originally we were going to do this episode solely about what Nintendo might need to do. Thankfully, we got some news, so we don't have to do so much of that. So we got some questions here, and I want to know your thoughts on these topics here. So first up, let's talk about ports. This question comes from Bun. A tad early, but definitely relevant to the next-gen talk. Do you feel that developers, namely virtuists, are up to the task they put themselves to port next-gen games to Switch? A lot. For those who don't know, Virtuous did the port of Outer Worlds, which Spun calls out. A lot of people seem skeptical after their shoddy port job of the Outer Worlds, and yet Virtuous remains confident they can port PS5 and Xbox Series X games to Switch. They made that bold claim that they could do that, and yet we saw the Outer Worlds, and Outer Worlds on Switch is a disaster. Absolutely atrocious effort. Probably should have scrapped that out there. But we've seen good efforts of older games like id Software games being ported. We've seen some decent efforts on there. But do you think as we head into next gen, this is only going to become a little bit more unfeasible?
Yes, especially like a year or two from now when we start moving away from cross-gen versions. So they'll probably be more okay right now when there's a bunch of cross-gen versions of games. But like once we're further than that, it's going to really start to show.
Yeah, I completely agree. You have the ultimate ace in the hole in Mario and Zelda, but I feel like you can play those one more time each, right? You can get your Breath of the Wild 2, your potential Odyssey 2 to kind of counter the PS5 and the Series X. And that'll buy you some time. But I feel like a couple years from now, when those new consoles really start kicking into overdrive, it's going to be a huge difference visually. Because, even now, like, visually, Switch is lagging behind. But it doesn't matter as much right now, of course. But once those consoles get going.
They'll be okay a lot more in the indie space, I think, Damiani, because a lot of those games won't be as graphically demanding probably, but like if we're talking like AAA games, then I think they're going to get left in the dust. I mean, but they always do with that. Like that always happens at a point.
It's true. It's always been one of the MO of Nintendo since we left the GameCube era and entered the Wii era that they don't keep up the spec with their competitors. I will say maybe this and Wii U were maybe the closest they've ever been in terms of recapturing that, but they have clearly there's a gap there, obviously, between the systems.
Switch launched in 2017. Okay, so
3 years.
3 years, yeah. I mean, 5 years and then a new Nintendo. That's crazy?
Possible.
I know PlayStation lasted like 7 years, but to me that seemed like a little too long. So if you get a new Nintendo console, I mean, I don't think I'm crazy for thinking about that. I know it's still kind of scary. Like, oh, the Switch still seems really new. Like 2 years is still a ways away.
Yeah, Nintendo always does whatever they want to do. They do their own thing. Even when third-party support falls by the wayside, they still lean on the strength of their first-party offerings. And we do know for a fact we have a Metroid Prime 4 in the works. We have Breath of the Wild sequel in the works. Those games, as far as I can tell, are probably very likely not coming out this year, which means they are the very earliest 2021 titles, potentially 2022, which does cover the next 2 years. They've got other titles in the works we've seen as well. We've seen Bayonetta 3. We've heard inklings of other projects. Like we think there's another 3D Mario game in the works potentially. They have another Pikmin 4 in the works. There's other projects they have in the works, and if they just stagger those releases, they will have quality titles for the next 2 years on their own. It just comes down to that is the same old song and dance. It worked for a while on Wii, and then people kind of got tired of not having some types of experiences on their Wii. There are a lot of other issues there potentially. And then you had Wii U, obviously, which just like failed miserably. I wonder if there will be a tipping point where the kind of like the luster of the Switch, like the appeal of playing games on the go, which seems to be what everyone points to, including I myself in the past, point to. That's like its biggest selling point. I can play almost all games up to current gen games right now, offerings on Switch on the go, and that's fine. That's why I love this system. But will that be enough in a few years? Will that still be as strong of an appeal to people? I guess is the real question.
I mean, I think the Switch is already such a success. Like, they really don't have anything to worry about. It's just the ultimate question of like 2 years from now, what do the games look like on Series X and PS5 2 years from now? What does Switch have in their library 2 years from now? So there's still a lot of factors at play, but Nintendo does Nintendo, and as long as you have 10 out of 10 Mario and Zelda games, like, and then other offerings that people are just so hungry for, like Animal Crossing and Pokemon and Mario Kart and Smash, like they have franchises that people are so obsessed with. So I don't think they have anything to worry about, but the question does remain of like, will they release a new console in 2 years? How big of a gap will PlayStation and Microsoft have?
That's a good point. Our next question kind of touches upon what should Nintendo, like hardware-wise, what's Nintendo's course of action? Varun Kashwaha asks, looking at options going forward, do you think Nintendo would go the route of creating a Switch Pro in addition to the Switch, or should they move forward with a full replacement with something like a Switch 2? Would forcing developers to make their games playable on both consoles be something that would hurt Nintendo in the long run? So
I think a Pro would be a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I think because if you do a Pro and it's a little better with new consoles coming out also, it's like, I'm not buying that thing for a little better Switch. It would have to be way better. But then they're alienating the original Switch users in a sense, and then you're delaying the new console. Like, it seems really messy, whereas I think they should just kind of ride this out as long as they can go.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Switch Pro, especially after 3DS, that whole thing. Like, they love upgrades. I don't think it's that big of a deal getting a game to work on two systems, because everyone already does that. Everyone already does that for Xbox and PlayStation, so I don't think that's out of the question for them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Microsoft has a stellar track record with their backwards compatibility. But even them, they don't have everything fully compatible, especially the further back you go.
Well, I'm saying like every Xbox One game you could play on Xbox One or Xbox One X. Yeah, I'm saying that's what Switch would be like.
That would be great, but then my counterpoint wants to be PlayStation, Sony. Every PS4 game is not going to be backwards compatible. As far as we know, they have not come out and said that. They said there will be a growing list of games. They haven't finalized it yet, but it sounds like there will be some PS4 games that will not day one work on PS5.
I'm not talking about Switch 2. I'm talking like Switch Plus, the PS4 Pro equivalent, not like a brand new system.
Okay, my bad. I was jumping ahead to it.
That could hold them over for like 2 years, I guess, if they wanted, or 2 or 3 years, I would say.
So I was of the mindset I was with Huber. I'm more of Huber's mindset now, but I was with you, Brad, last year up through the beginning of this year. I thought this was the year for Switch Pro. 2020 needed to be the year for the Switch Pro if they're doing it. I kind of think with how things are going, I think 2021 will be too late for Switch Pro.
Maybe, yeah, because everyone will be buying new stuff.
I just think so. Here's the thing. I think I understand Nintendo has been doing. Nintendo is a place. The Switch is a place to play older games right now, as well as new games. All these classics being re-released on like eShop, stuff like that. Like all the Resident Evil games coming out pretty much on Switch, minus the newest ones. It's like everything from last gen or earlier has potentially can come out on Switch. Like the sky's the limit. except for Nintendo's own back catalog, which they seem reluctant to put all their games on there one way or the other, where it's, a service, the online store, just selling them piecemeal on the eShop. But that library is going to run out at some point, and like that appeal is only goes so far. And I think Switch Pro would have done enough to buy a few more years for them. I honestly believe the best course of action is to get out the Breath of the Wild and get out all the games that have currently planned for Switch, get them out in the next 2 years, and move on to Switch 2, and make sure Switch 2 has what I was talking about. It better have backwards compatibility 100% with your Switch lineup. At least all the, like, digitally, at least, it should be able to support them if they want to change media.
I mean, they seem to be going kind of backwards in that sense lately, so.
Yeah, that is true. That's not what, I mean, this is what I hope and wish, but Nintendo doing that's a whole nother story. They obviously could do a Pro. Maybe they want a Pro, but I guess my argument is I don't think a Pro will help out enough to bring any PS5 or Xbox Series X games to Switch.
No, I don't think it will either.
I think a Switch 2, like something that puts it more on par with like PS4, Xbox, basically needs to be as powerful as current gen consoles before we skip to PS5, Xbox Series X in portable form, essentially. If they don't make that, if they don't meet that threshold, I can see them struggling to keep the amount of third-party support they have, except indie games and smaller projects and stuff like that, which you could argue that's enough. But I will miss, I expect on Switch 2, I want to see like RE7 on there. Like the games I missed out on this channel. The games I might want to play again, but like I don't want to sit down and play them. I just want to play them like on the go or something. Those are the games. That's the library. All these games that came out this gen that didn't make it to Switch that were multi-platform. That's the next crop of games I want to see.
Totally. Portable versions.
Yeah. Like I think that's the way they continue that momentum. That appeal they have. And I don't think a Switch Pro is going to cut that at this point. Maybe I'm wrong though, dude.
Yeah, I mean, because their systems always come out in between of generations now, so this is something I feel like they're going to face every single time.
And then you just release an Animal Crossing and you sell over 10 million units, and
you resell the same old. You resell Mario Kart again, dude.
Yeah.
It's like they could just take the graphics of Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 9, put like all the Nintendo characters in it, call it Mario Kart Ultimate,
20
and
million.
like it'll probably sell more than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
Like that is the thing about Nintendo, but that's always been mostly true. It's more true now with the Switch because they got like their mojo back. But at the same time, I do understand that there are some people out there who want more than just Nintendo first party offerings. They do want the fill. But again, you can point to all these other games they put out on Switch that probably are never going to stop coming. As you said, like indie offerings. They do so well on Switch.
Yeah, well, when Nintendo plays that game of not necessarily trying to be the tech leader, like that's just the way it is now. Like you're not going to have all the third-party games on there anymore, like the best looking ones anymore.
Yeah, I know that's a thing for you who was mentioned in the past. Like Nintendo just doesn't keep up technologically with the competition, and I know you said like it's irked you some at points. It's been, or
Sometimes.
at least a disappointment that it's not quite at that level for like because you like. Like when you look at Breath of the Wild, but then you look at Horizon, like Breath of the Wild could look like Horizon if Nintendo had the tech and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me as much because like tech isn't everything. Like Breath of the Wild is so much better than Horizon. Like Horizon looks 10 times better, but to me, Breath of the Wild is an infinitely better game. So yeah, graphics aren't everything, but at the same time, when you have both, when you have a Resident Evil remake on GameCube and it looks and is phenomenal, it's that balance that's freaking awesome.
I will not change my stance on this until Nintendo comes out and says it otherwise. They're never gonna compete on a technological level with the competition. I do think, though, to be prudent and to be smart, I hope the lesson learned is there is a baseline they do need to be hitting, though. There is a level that they need to have where it incentivizes third parties to work with them in some capacity and deliver this level of success. They have leverage now. They are such a successful company. The Switch is such a successful selling platform right now to offer Switch 2 and like whatever their successor is going to be and say it's going to be more of the same. Just hear the new spec requirements and stuff. work with their third parties, talk with them. Like, I hope they're having that communication with them to find a happy, like, medium there, like a middle ground to work with that satisfies, like, as much of their concerns as possible.
Because can you imagine, like, Nintendo's doing so well, right? They're playing their own game, they're crushing it, doing their own thing. Can you imagine, though, if they had the visual power of PlayStation and Xbox, and you were getting third-party exclusives in the vein of Resident Evil Remake? Like, they would be destroying Sony. Not destroying, but like it would be like an even bigger advantage.
Well, the Switch thing is the reason, or a huge reason it's popular, is because it's portable.
True.
Yeah,
so that would just be insanely expensive.
Yeah,
true.
Brad's exactly right. I think you can't have
you can't have it all. You can't.
It's your stat point allocation, dude. You can't put it all on there.
They tried.
That's God mode. You can't do that.
They tried it and they failed, so they moved on to their own strategy.
Yeah,
for sure. Good call.
Regardless of what they're gonna do, there is a question comes from a Fogbound Hero about what we're gonna see play out this holiday season, assuming Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 come out in the last 3 months of this year. Their question is for the panel, based on what was shown at the reveal event and assuming the PS5, based on what was shown at each console's reveal event, do you think the Switch will continue to be the number one selling console for the last, they say the months of November, December, but like for this holiday, will Switch remain the number one selling unit when it goes head to head with those two platforms? And then they ask, how about a year from now?
I think the only way I could see Switch outselling it, like newer consoles this year, is supply and demand for this new hardware. Like if the like PS5 and Xbox Series X or whatever sold out anywhere, I think people are just ready to jump into a new console. They're ready to go for new generation.
Yeah, I agree with Brad. It's going to be all about supply and demand. How many PlayStations and Xboxes can they make? You know, obviously COVID has impacted that, I would imagine, like manufacturing. But, you know, we haven't even seen price of those. Like, you start bundling a new Breath of the Wild or Mario for $300, and that Switch looks
don't get me wrong. I think it would still sell a lot. But I think just new consoles will be so hype.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the closest it's been in a long time. I think they'll be very close and very competitive, the sales of the three systems. I mean, I still see a possibility where Switch is still the number one selling. Because as you said, it's harder for a new console to sell because they only find an amount of units at the beginning. Like, they got to ramp up production, and when the current situation in the world, I could see them having some supply constraint. And so they just physically can't have enough units out there to match what Switch already is going to have available. And so Switch will, if the Switch sells all their units out, those by default win. But at the same time, like a year from now will be, that was the last part of their question, might be a different story a year from now, for sure. I could definitely see that.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Damn excited. Mario and Zelda are somewhere right now cooking.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
Metroid is cooking.
It's just so it gives me such anxiety that we don't even have direct announcements anymore to give us at least a 24-hour lead time.
It's just boom, here it is.
Shadow drop, shadow drop in the morning. It could be any day, be on high alert. Just be ready. Breath of the Wild 2 trailer coming. What?
Yeah.
Shadow drop. I gotta watch it before anyone else talks about it. I don't want to see all the breakdowns before I get to it. It's like, oh geez, it's a little. I kind of do. There was a question here. Does Nintendo from Straw Hat
really quickly about tech too? Like, Brad, man, don't you want Castlevania to come home? Like, how some like beautiful next gen looking Castlevania, shouldn't that be on like a Nintendo platform? Like, and it just doesn't seem possible in a sense, you know?
So it depends what Castlevania if it is. For me, I've my opinions on stuff is different than a lot of people, and I want the best looking version usually of everything possible. So if they did like a new big deal 3D Castlevania, I don't like, if it was Switch exclusive, like cool, but I would want it to be like it's on PC, it's on PS5 and Xbox. Like, I want it to look the best it can look.
Yeah.
Because like even still like Bloodstained, dude, like when that came out on Switch was like pretty rough, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I finally play that game. I'm like, why is having trouble running on Switch?
Yeah.
What?
Just like, damn.
How you liking it, Damiani? Love that freaking game.
It's growing on me for sure.
Yeah,
I'm starting to enjoy it more and more there.
sick.
Love the music in that game.
Yeah.
They really,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, I was mentioning directs because Straw Hat Ninja asked, "Do Nintendo need directs anymore?" I say yes.
Yes.
Because as I was saying, like I hate being on edge like this. I hate being on edge, worrying about like that. I thought that the point was maybe to make people not worry so much, but I think it's just a way I think Nintendo fans work. They're just like more obsessed about where's the next thing and stuff like that. I do hope.
I mean, I feel like that's like video game fans in general now, because the people have been trained so long of like conferences and directs, and if you don't hear something for a long time, especially when like other companies are doing something, everyone gets real antsy. Because people are like, Nintendo, what are you doing this year? Like, what's happening? Kind of thing like that. Like,
Worried we'll be left behind.
yeah, it's like, what are you guys doing? We
Yeah.
want to know.
Left behind's a good way to peer it. Like, fear of missing out.
FOMO.
Yeah. The last question I want to ask on this subject comes from Logan. With Sony having a digital-only version of the PS5, should Nintendo do the same with a much larger amount of memory than Switch currently has? Love and respect.
Sure, we're getting to that point now.
It's cheaper digital-only version.
Yeah,
Sure,
we're getting
yeah,
to
why
that
not?
point. Yeah, where people are willing to do that.
Nintendo did say also, I believe it was from Furukawa, current CEO, president of Nintendo, said they did see a spike in digital-only sales for Animal Crossing. It was the highest % of the game ever, but they also tempered that their conclusions they drew from that by saying, we understand it's a unique special circumstance right now.
Yeah, like I bought digitally because I couldn't go get it.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that once people get a taste of that, like the situation forces you to buy it.
Oh
a
yeah,
way,
it's just
it's going to skew. It pushes the needle even further in that direction.
yeah.
So
I buy more digital games than I used to.
So,
yeah,
but it's like I still like prefer physical, but I do buy more.
I'm the same boat, so I wouldn't be surprised.
The only
in fact, my
reason
Switch Lite,
this
my Switch Lite, I wish it was. If it could have made it even cheaper, I wish it was digital only. Absolutely would take that.
the only reason I need a disc drive is for movies and backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really the only two main reasons. So
the thing I like about physical still is that I can like lend a game out or something like that, which I always really like. I still love. Like for us, like we're in a very unique situation where like this is our job to cover games, so we usually don't have a problem buying games. But it's like the idea of being able to share a game with someone is still really sick to me.
Yeah, bonds.
Yeah,
Hubert, your point. Yeah, like I missed that a little bit, Brad. I would miss that a little bit if I went all digital. But more to Huber's point, it's these platforms like we saw in the PS5 event, pushing like 4K, Blu-ray videos and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like my PC doesn't have any disc drives anymore, so it's like, how do I watch all my collection of movies? I gotta either put it in my PS4 or it's my systems, my console. And if I take away that from my consoles, do I have to haul out an older console just to have out there as my media player? But the backwards compatibility thing, we talked about this. Really, for me, like the PS5, it depends on that list of games. If it's comprehensive enough and it covers every game I own, I'm like, cool. I'm going to upgrade to, I'll use the disc version. I'll get the disc version. But if not, I'm like, I might, if it saves me money, especially that sucker is really expensive, I might need to cut whatever corners I need.
Briefly, Damiani, but I was like, man, what if I get a physical copy for work or something like that? And that's all we get.
That's a good
what if my biggest fear is that the PS5 disc version will be louder?
It could be.
For some reason, there's like a disc drive in there that's different hardware. Like, will it affect noise or I don't know. A lot of factors.
Yeah. Dominic, just to go back about your point about Nintendo, is if they do digital only, the thing that really worries me about that is how they handle like digital games and transferring your data. It's like you cannot have that if you're going to do that, if you're going to make an all digital system. Like everything needs to be much more streamlined and you can hop back and forth easily.
Thank you for reminding me about that, Brad. Nintendo does have a pretty bad track record
Like
when it
they're
comes to
so
digital
far
only
behind
stuff.
in a lot of those aspects that it makes me
Yeah,
worried about stuff.
that's a very good point.
What if the next Switch is Nintendo Switch Internet Edition and it has just better internet? It comes in with like
broadband.
Yeah,
It has
broadband
Yeah,
edition.
it has the Ethernet jack finally in it.
Oh my god!
So they make you buy a dongle. They literally have made you buy a dongle since the
dongle,
Wii.
dude.
GameCube. I was like, come on, they've just
I
not
know.
had a build. It's like, come on, Nintendo, why? Why the hell do you do this shit? It just shows. I just don't. Online is not like their biggest focus.
Yeah, they like don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they need to step up their game in online department.
That'd be something they could. I hope they. You know what? I'd rather them focus on that than some like if it's digital only, or hey, we could put more resources into better online infrastructure. But you guys gotta buy more physical copies. Sure, we'll do it.
Like think about Ben when he lost his 3DS. He talks about, and he just lost all those games, man.
It's Nintendo's account system. It's real. Like it has been. Yeah. It frustrates me to think that like you have to worry about that. Whereas like PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, there's so many ways to easily back up your shit, full control pretty much, and restore the restorative options. Nintendo has slowly improved and offered more things. They're just too damn slow. They're too stubborn. I don't like it. They need to. I'm mad that they're not at least on par with their competition. The fact that Pokemon and Smash saves are locked out is the dumbest shit. When cloud saves and backing up is the dumbest shit ever. I will not stop calling them out on that because it's ridiculous. There's any excuse about integrity of preserving the online experience goes out the window with how prevalent hacking and cheating is in their games. How easy it is to do. It's nonsense.
Yeah,
it's absolute nonsense. Don't buy it.
They gotta step their game up, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, sorry, I don't want to go tangent, but I've been like really kind of disappointed with Nintendo's online for Switch. It's like I really just miss
really
the
bad.
eShop, man, or the virtual console, just being able to buy those old games. It's like I know they want that subscription thing, which like financially is probably better for them, but I just don't like the fact that I don't have that option to buy a game anymore.
This has been categorically worse in every way. Exception is the emulator functionality on Switch because it's the SNES, NES Classic stuff, like the rewind stuff. That's slightly better than anything. Cool. But everything else has been, in my opinion, worse.
Yeah.
Less of a value in it, even at its cheaper price. It's just they barely add any more games anymore. They're pretty much dead. 2 random games every few months. That's whatever. I'd rather be able to buy whatever I want from the virtual console service because like they're charging you piecemeal. And then like their online infrastructure is so bad. Like it's not just, I mean, there are other games out there that suffer from bad netcode, but Smash Brothers never ever being a possibility to be in an online-only tournament. So it couldn't be an EVO Online coming up because they didn't want to allow that because it's just bad netcode. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be embarrassed. Plus, players can't even play it that way. It's such a fucking liability for them. Sorry to say that, but it is true to have this bad online, bad netcode for so many of their games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Online problems out the gate. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Online issues out the gate. Still has connectivity issues. Bad netcode for a fighting game. It's the only ones that even Animal Crossing. How much of a pain in the ass is it to go to the airport, register? They make it so freaking ridiculous. They just don't know how to simplify things and just there's always gonna be people with bad experiences online. There's no way you're gonna stop that. So just let people be able to more easily access connecting with other players. But I mean, it's not their focus. They've historically, even though the late Iwata had a quote that probably haunted him a little bit about his stance on online. Was not that important and stuff, and didn't see it as why the need to be important. And it's clearly a very important part of a lot of gamers. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
you're absolutely right, Brad.
It's just the resistance of change from them.
Nintendo, they always just drag their feet with online stuff.
You just think about
they're like 2 generations behind always in online.
Because that's the foundation.
Maybe
right?
3, yeah.
Like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and
It's like,
64.
it feels like I'm playing on PS2 online, man.
I would say Switch Online.
Yeah.
There's some part. It's like a hybrid. There's some parts of it that feel a little bit like sort of caught it like 360 PS3 era ish at the very least. But then there's shit on it that's like this is like older than that. Like this is like archaic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Step it up.
Just like they're like, unlike them being a tech parity with their competition, online is something I do think is going to continually hurt them, and it's something they would solve and take more seriously. I think it would pay off very well for them. It would. It's something worthwhile they should invest in.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like, look at the PS3. The PS3 was like, the store was a terrible mess when it came out and everything. Like, the online wasn't good, but they put an effort to making it better. And it's like, you got to have that now. That's the standard for systems. Like, Microsoft set a standard, and everyone, like, Sony eventually caught up. And it's like, Nintendo, you should catch up, dude. You'll just make more money.
What's funny is they had all this talk about going into the Switch. They were hiring these mobile specialist companies to come in. Like, was it DNA? I think maybe was involved at one point of helping design their online infrastructure and delivery system for Switch. And it just, remember how long we were waiting for online, even the subscription.
Yeah.
This feels like one of the worst like issues with them. They just did not take it seriously at all this gen. Didn't care. They were like, the Japanese side seemed so nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
They kept saying, "Oh, it's coming," and it'll be worth it when it's coming. And like, really, it was it was not. I was like,
sorry, we'll get that broadband edition this year.
That's the upgrade.
Switch B, the Switch B. There you go, B edition. B for broadband. Again,
they come out with like a giant Ethernet cable. They're like, "You've asked for it.
Here it is."
Just them turning around a new Switch and it has like an Ethernet jack in it already. We'll be like, "Oh my god!"
Mario comes out. Mario comes out, plugs it into the wall. It's like,
oh, it's like, I can't handle this. My brain's getting overloaded with the shame I feel when I think about Nintendo Online. I think that's going to do it for this episode, though. Thank you to all the patrons submitted questions. I'm sorry I didn't give you an update about Paper Mario and the NPD. There's a shadow dropped out of nowhere. That was Nintendo and the NPD. It just happened, That's what it is. So unfortunately, I apologize you didn't have a chance to ask questions about those. But thank you, everyone, submitted questions about the future of Switch in relation to PS5 and Xbox Series X now having their full unveilings and what we think about the future of Nintendo with those. If you'd like to submit a question for consideration for a future episode of Friend Code, you need to be a $5 and up patron. The week we are recording, I'll make a post calling for your submissions. And thank you for those of you who submitted and support us that way. Also, $5 is $5 patrons. You're part of our early access tier. You get episodes of many of our shows and podcasts early. Not this specific episode of Friend Code, and you're not even getting it on time, so I apologize for that. But usually it does come out in advance of the public version. But for everyone who watches it when it goes up on YouTube for public, thank you for supporting the show in your own way. And we have some shout outs for the month of May 2020. And as a reminder to my panelists here, when I'm done and I do the prompt for shout out, we all say it together in unison. There's no cadence or anything. But our shout outs for the month of May 2020, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, L. Thanis, Blue, and Black Lives Matter. Shout out! Thank you again. And thank you both of you for joining me and talking about this. Glad we got some MPDs for you, Huber. Glad we got to talk about online shortcomings.
Hey, anytime I get to rag on Nintendo's online, I'm happy.
Hey, they got to get one of these things right someday, right, Brad? Yeah. Achievements online, like just keep giving them something. God. They got the bingo card. They got to hit one of these eventually. Dude. Broken clocks right twice a day. Sometimes got to get it right at some point. And again, thank you everyone who watches the show. And until next time, may the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.